1. The first time I tried to cook potatoes, following an old family recipe, I nearly killed 30 people. This is how I learned that potatoes with eyes contain a nerve toxin to ward off predators. 2. Once I was in this taxi and the driver asked me if I knew why there were so many people queuing outside that Taoist temple, and if I knew what festival it was. When I said no, he told me, that's because you eat too many potatoes. I wanted to say no, it's because my grandmother went to a convent school in the 40s. But maybe that meant the same thing. 3. If a taxi driver says you eat potatoes, he means you sound too much like a white person, which means you talk like you have a potato in your mouth. 4. I come from a long line of people who take pride in eating potatoes. We cut them up for our chicken curry. It's gravy, the color of flame. Call it superior. Call it better than yours. We could teach you, but you'll never be one of us. We could teach you, but the secret ingredient is in our blood. 5. The first time I cooked potatoes, I was about to serve them in a curry for 30 people, until my roommate ran in screaming that the bag of sprouted potatoes that she had bought to plant in our garden were missing. 6. The first time I dug fresh potatoes that I had grown myself out of the ground, it felt like revelation, like I had cracked a code to the apocalypse. When I put them in the oven and they turned to powder, I realized that not all potatoes are made the same. 7. There are over 4,000 species of potatoes found in the world today. Majority of them found in the Andes Mountains, where they were first cultivated thousands of years ago by the Incas. Most potatoes we eat today come from a single species, the one taken home by Spanish conquistadors, the first species of potato to be described by European scientists. 8. Fun fact. Every sprout that grows out of a potato is genetically identical to that potato. A field of potatoes is essentially a field of clones. 9. My grandmother was an English teacher who also speaks 3 other languages. I spent 17 years in mother tongue class to learn the one language she's never spoken. She says I have better things to learn than her complicated recipes. She says to teach me any of the 3 other languages she speaks is a waste of energy. 10. The one time I tried to cook mashed potatoes, I boiled enough for 10 people only to be left with a pot of wax. 11. When a taxi driver says you eat too many potatoes, he means your accent sounds like monoculture, your enunciation like driving through miles and miles of field planted with the same lucrative starch. 12. I still can't fucking stand the way I pronounce potatoes in this video. 13. I lied. Years later I would learn that the first time I cooked potatoes would not have killed anyone. They would have just gotten bad nausea and stomach cramps. My blood contains no secret ingredients. I'm so sick of coming up with new metaphors for my tongue. There was no family recipe. I was only following instructions from a book about Nonya cuisine. Everything I know about cooking, I've learned through trial and error.